So if this is your first time watching Triforce Blitz, let me give you a very brief explanation of what you are going to be seeing today. We have to find all three of them as quickly as possible. They will only be in the dungeons, and as soon as they find their third Triforce piece, the time will stop. Our time in Triforce Blitz is capped at 2 hours, so if for some reason the Triforce pieces elude our runners for longer than 2 hours, we will stop, and the winner is based on who gets the most pieces first. So Triforce Blitz seeds can sometimes be very fast, and sometimes they can be very slow. So it looks like we've got a countdown underway, and we have a free Song of Storms today. So we'll be getting some information about where these paths are going to lead us very shortly, and we'll be able to tell you more about where these Triforce pieces might be.
So you see 4, 8, and 12. And GTG is on Path to Wisdom. Do you want to talk about steps and paths?
Yeah, so let's go over what these numbers mean. So these numbers are very important to understanding how the seed is going to play out. And basically what these numbers mean is the number of logically required items in order to reach whatever location has the Triforce piece. And all the pieces have individual names. This is the Triforce of Power, Wisdom, and Courage. So, for example, in this seed, the Triforce of Power logically requires 4 items in order to get to wherever it is. And so the runners are going to use this information, especially as we start finding a bunch of items, to narrow down where in the world these Triforce pieces might be, because wandering around totally blind would end up requiring us to use much more than our 2-hour time limit. So Triforce Blitz is all about going to the right place the fastest, rather than trying to full clear the entire game. And one thing that is common in this mode that is challenging for many people, including myself, is counting. And sometimes our runners will be able to eliminate certain areas and prioritize other areas as being more or less likely to have the Triforce piece based on these numbers. And as we get more hints and as we get more items, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more specifically about what areas might be likely or less likely for each Triforce piece.
I would like to bring up one thing about counting. When we say logically required items, it means specifically called out as absolutely 100% logically required. If there are multiple ways to do something, like you can have a wallet or a Goron tunic, and they are both accessible, it is not they are not considered logically required. They don't actually count for any value at all.
Yeah, it's one of the quirks of the kind of the path system, or the way of the hero system. But a simple way that I use to explain it to people is, if a specific copy of the item was deleted from the game, would the game still be finishable? And if the answer is no, then that is a logically required item. So already we've got a little bit of divergence in the cat clearing. Not really much items showing up. Was that Din's?
20 skulls is Din's fire.
Oh boy. Well, that's a really important information that BruZZler picked up, because Shadow Temple likes to have Triforce pieces in these settings, and if Synii does not check that hint, Synii could be looking for Din's Fire, potentially the seed, and they're not going to find it because there's not going to be any other hints pointing to it. It's just on 20 skulls, and you have to check that one. So, seems like BruZZler is skipping Graveyard.
So I think BruZZler is doing Adult River just for the hints. He's going to save quit and come right back as child.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially.
And then you can dip storms along the way.
Yeah, so in these settings, we do start off with a free song, and you see that song was Song of Storms, and so Song of Storms gives us access to Bottom of the Well, which is a dungeon with a lot of checks. Although there are some checks that are locked behind other things that we don't have yet. Zelda's Lullaby and Bombs give us some more checks there, but bottom of the well is often a good place to go early. It's very fast to clear, and with
it's very
the
fast
number of
to
checks,
peak, I will say that.
Yeah, and so it's a good place to find explosives. There's some out-of-logic options for explosives, like bomb juice, and sometimes just going to bottom of the well gives you a lot of quick chances at bomb shoes, which can allow you to maybe do some skips or just kind of open up the seed early to have more efficiency. As we see, Deku Tree, foolish this seed.
That's interesting. That usually gets hit as soon as someone finds the Kokiri sword because it's so fast.
Yeah, probably not going to be our Ganon's access today. So we did see a inside Ganon's castle path earlier on, and in Triforce Blitz, Ganon's castle is available very early. Is that hovers?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
That's interesting. So we're seeing a lot of our Shadow Kit show up very early. Din's Fire available on 20 Skulls, and then also these hover boots are available. These are going to be locked behind a bombs or a scale, and I mean, I guess we could get into Domain if we wanted, but I think BruZZler just wants the hint.
Azora's River Path of Wisdom. Thanks.
I think we found it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so this seed is kind of screaming Shadow Temple already, with the early Dins, the early hovers, and hovers likely being on the path. And it just worries me for Synii, because Synii really needs to know those the 20 skull reward, and I don't know.
Really hit that up.
Oh, he did. Oh, great.
So this is also done. Sometimes you just hit it on the way out of CAC, but then that means you have to remember to hit it on the way out of CAC, because Synnii's repeating the same thing and going to be picking up the hovers. I assume Synii knows the glitchless jump.
I would imagine so. That's something that probably one of the more common tricks to learn when you're starting out. So I imagine that Synii won't have too much trouble with that. And BruZZler is going to be seeing our child checks first. Oftentimes in Triforce Blitz at the beginning, we end up just rushing around trying to check as many songs and as many hints as possible to figure out what are the priority locations. But also because the song layout plays a very important role in determining what locations are locked behind a lot of required items and what locations are available very early. And so having the knowledge of what songs are available is going to let you make good decisions as we get deeper into the seed. Additionally, it's going to help you route. If you get good warp songs, it's just going to let you get around the world faster, and that's going to allow you to get to more checks before the end of the game.
There's the other Deku Tree Foolish. Thanks.
So we have a question in chat about how many steps is it usually to get into Ganon's? And so that's... I would say usually it's 0.
0, yes.
Yeah. So in these settings, Ganon's access is locked behind completing one dungeon. Any dungeon. So oftentimes there are more than one dungeon that can be completed to get in there. And if that's the case, then because there's multiple ways to get there, it counts as 0 steps. However, that doesn't always have to be the case in this situation where the seed is extremely bottlenecked, and actually there's only one possible way into Ganon's castle. Then it could end up being a little bit further on, but likely Ganon's is going to end up being pretty early. And if you see path counts in the maybe 1 to 2 range or even a 0, oftentimes that's going to end up being Ganon's.
I believe I saw there that Deku Tree is actually our forest medallion, which means we might do it anyway. Yeah,
so our song dungeon rewards are Forest Medallion unlocks a song in the Temple of Time, and if you get that one, and then also the Fire and Water Medallion, that'll give us another one in Kakarika Village. And then the OOT song is locked behind all the stones. So seems like Deku Tree might be at least important enough to climb on down and give Goma the old stab to get that forest medallion, because oftentimes it's just the forest medallion is required to get whatever the song that is to lead to our Triforce pieces.
Now, will Synii repeat and do all of the hints that are available here?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think it... Well, they have Sun Song, so they don't actually need to mess with time of day.
Second one, which is a Hyrule Field, is Path to Wisdom. Oh, and accidentally got caught by the guard. Oh, well, okay, that's our Requiem. Over from Malon. Oh, this is interesting. BruZZler is skipping the silo.
Yeah, that's kind of brave. I don't love it, honestly, but I guess we're just going to see the song really quickly. It's just scary because, you know, if that item is really important, then you're never, ever going back there. Ever.
It could be a bomb bag. It could be a bow. It could be a hook shot.
Yeah, it could be important, but the song looks like not so important. Sorry, song. I guess that'll give us an extra check on Skull Kid as we run through the Lost Woods before too long, but that's the forest tactics we didn't really want.
And looks like Synnii's actually gonna not save quit, gonna go back through market. Are we gonna see the shooting game? And I could not tell what was on the arch. I don't know if you could.
I couldn't tell either, but I do know that BruZZler got a Temple of Time as path on Wisdom as well. And so we mentioned Deku Tree for that Forest Medallion, and that is Temple of Time is another hint that is almost certainly for a song, because there's only 2 checks at the Temple of Time. There is the song that is locked by Forest Medallion, and then there is the Light Arrow cutscene, which is locked by Shadow Medallion and Spirit Medallion. And that's actually pretty uncommon. And given what we know, wow, magic and bomb shoes. So like our whole Shadow Temple is more or less available, minus Nocturne. And
how about Nocturne on a Temple of Time?
Yeah, definitely a real possibility. And so I'm sure that our runners, once they get all the information that we've seen, I think BruZZler has the info and Synii is going to get it soon. Well, they'll definitely be trying to prioritize Shadow Temple. And I do like that magic was somewhere easy. So not going to have any like Wanderer shenanigans where there's like 2 magics that are just kind of anywhere. Well, that's a big chest.
BruZZler, go pick it up.
Okay, so starting to pick up some items here. That's a bow for BruZZler, and now we've got some explosives as well, and the magic. So starting to get a lot of freedom to start going where we want to go. Bomb shoes are never in logic, but they will allow us to get some checks early that would normally require bombs. So sometimes bomb shoes can be a way to get around the logical requirements of the seed and let us go to where we want to go faster. And that's a DC foolish, so that's another dungeon that we probably won't be seeing.
So our really fast dungeon clears are both foolish.
It's actually kind of nice that they're foolish and we didn't get the items to do them very easily, because there's nothing worse than like doing Dodongo's Cavern full to get Ganon's access and then finding the Barrakin a little bit later on.
There was also a Death Mountain Trail foolish, I believe, in that Storm's Grotto. So one of the things about hints is that Triforce Blitz prioritizes dungeons over overworld.
Yeah, especially as we get later into the seed and we start seeing some more hints on the courage path, that could be more important. Sometimes you get a little nervous when you only have dungeon hints for a path, because you don't know, you kind of can't narrow down where all your pieces are. We try to give everybody information to allow them to only clear the dungeons that they need to get the items that they're looking for. without having to clear dungeons blindly. And as long as you have an overworld path for one of your Triforce pieces, then you can be assured that there's no like extra dungeon items that you'll have to search through all the dungeons for without there being a hint for it.
Oh no, Synnii's also doing it.
Is this the new meta? Like, have I missed what people do now?
I don't know. Someone like HoloLogic, who is willing to make a lot of really aggressive plays to make up for not as good execution, I expect things like that. I don't expect it from many other players, though.
It's kind of interesting, yeah. And, because it does seem like, you know, there's lots of opportunities for important items to be back there early. Like, the seed doesn't seem super bottlenecked. At least, the logic could potentially be bottlenecked, but the items have started to flow in pretty well. But I guess if neither of us, if neither runner sees it, then it means it's nothing, right? Like a tree falls in the woods.
Until it turns out it's our bomb bag, or our hook shot, or like go nuts looking.
I'm worried about
one item.
I think we could live without a bomb bag because of the bomb shoes, but a hook or potentially even like a strength upgrade would be pretty scary. But we got a bomb locked big chest on BruZZler's side. Is this going to help us skip stuff? No.
It's fire arrows. We can actually use those.
Yeah, we can use them for a while. Although, I guess once we get to Ganon's, that could actually be pretty useful. Yeah, so that actually could be relevant. We'll see.
Yeah, good. Chat says, gonna be great when Kokiri's sword is in the silo.
For what it's worth, Kokiri's sword is in the silo. I think there's a decent chance that we end up with a hint for it, but even a Lon hint at this point would be pretty ambiguous because Requiem already showed up there, and Requiem is a song that is very often pathed, so I think it's going to be really hard to convince our runners to go back to Lon, but alright, Minuet showing up, that's nice. It's going to give us another fast adult song, but that is, I believe...
Oh, that is our first unlock hint, isn't it?
Yeah, unlock hints. So this is the Season 2 of Triforce Blitz, and unlock hints are a new hint type that are in Season 2 and are new to Season 2. And what these hints mean is that the first item logically locks the second item. So you need the first item in order to get the second item according to the logic of the seed. But it also tells you that both of the items are logically required for at least one of the Triforce pieces. And so what that tells us is that we have a logically required strength upgrade and we have a logically required bomb bag. So that kind of tells us that this seed might be a little bit, well, kind of locked away. We have to find some logical bomb bag, and we have explosives already through these bomb chews. So there may be some skips that we can do to get around what the seed expects us to do and just go to where the seed is leading us to faster. Or not. We'll see.
Okay. Synii going to do the smart thing and use the bomb chews after getting the song from Sacred Forest Meadow, or are we going to blow them going in?
Yeah, I always like to do the bomb chew loop after, just because if...
Yeah, especially when, like, if you have if you have 20 chews, then I don't care. But if you have 10 or fewer, maybe hold off. Takes a little more time, but then you don't have to worry about save scumming away also the song.
Yeah, and especially in this seed, we know now that our bomb bag is going to be pathed, so there's a decent chance that the bomb bag might be, well, a little bit difficult to find, so there's no guarantee that we're going to get any more explosives after this. But BruZZler is headed into Foolish DMT. This is purely for a hint, so that's pretty aggressive. And we see another Graveyard Path of Power.
Yeah. Already knew that, and we are heading back to CAC.
This is a cool route. I almost never see runners go from Lost Woods to Goron City down to Cac as child. But I actually think it makes a lot of sense because Well is pretty good, but also Graveyard is Path, and we've got Sunsong to do Dompe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pick up a pile of skulls that
yeah,
you
there's a lot to do
20.
here.
You can even get the one on the ladder if you are willing to spend the chew.
And I believe Synii picked up a bottle
Yeah.
on Ocarina minigame, so that's going to unlock some more possibilities to escape our logic. Because we can do ice now with hovers, and so that is a place that we can go to, and who knows where Rudo's letter is. So we have really no idea how deep Ice Cavern is, and potentially there could be Triforce pieces there.
A large step count that winds up being just for Rudo's letter, so you can get ice access. Oh.
Yeah, I mean...
Never feels good when you realize that you've run into that situation.
Yeah, or just Rudo's in Shadow Temple, locking, like, Kokiri Sword or something ridiculous. So let's see. We've got a lot of hints, and we don't have a lot of items for these hints. The only item I think we've resolved is actually the hovers from Zora's River.
Yes.
But we got field that is essentially clearable. And there's our bomb bag, so that's probably our graveyard.
Okay, that's our graveyard. That's resolved. And that will lead us to a strength.
Yeah, lead us to a path strength, and also that is our logical Ganon's access. So that's going to make it less likely that there's pieces in Ganon's castle, at least early. Certainly Light Trial is always an option for pieces later on that's locked behind the 3 strength upgrades. And we know one of the strength upgrades is logically required, and in my experience, oftentimes when 1 strength upgrade is logically required, 3 strength upgrades are logically required, because you have so many different options to pick up strength upgrades. So oftentimes if you have to get it, then you kind of need them all. That's a pretty likely case, but more to see on that later on. I'm sure as we start to find these strength upgrades, we'll have a better idea of how many we need. But that bomb bag, gonna let BruZZler ignore the bomb shoe scumming, basically, and we'll just be able to kind of go ham on all these bomb lock checks. And now I think the question is, do we go well or do we go field?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. If you're BruZZler and you have that Hyrule, if you have storms versus known path, Hyrule Field. Okay, it looks like the answer is storms.
Yeah, I think this is okay. There's some checks that we can get in Bottom of the Well, likely out of logic. There's a good chance that some of the back checks will logically be locked behind ZL because of keys, but in practice we can actually just go there with 1 key. So that can be kind of we're worth a shot, but we don't have anything pointing towards Bottom of the Well yet. At the same time, because Storms is our starting song, we will never receive any hints for Song of Storms. We can only receive hints directly for... Yeah, so...
Starting songs still count as 1 step. Even though you already have them, they're an item that's required.
Yes, if in fact it is required, which we don't know.
That's true. In the case of something like Storms or ZL, as a starting thing, or even ZL in general won't be hinted. It's a bomb-locked key already. Chest appearance matches contents makes Well so fast to know. That's a free key and a large chest.
Interestingly enough, we do have Goron Pot in logic, because we can do it with dins and bombs.
Oh,
it's kind of
you're
uncommon,
right.
And be pretty hideous and kind of unlikely. to be relevant based on the fact that we have hovers probably path, but it's funny.
No one ever thinks about that, typically. But yeah, it's possible with our Goron City. And City's actually doing the same route.
I think this... I'm washed. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, you don't see this often, but both of them are doing it.
I think it's really good, this seed, honestly. Like, I'm impressed.
And we've pulled a scale out of bottom of the well so far.
Yeah, I might be inclined to leave if I was BruZZler, because going to the other side is... It's 2 checks, and it's kind of a slow 2 checks. And something, like... I don't love full clearing bottom of the well unless it's hinted. Because I just like to play the numbers, but looks like we're going to go back and see those other 2 checks. So nothing wrong with that. I guess we'll see if they're big chests, because we can peek some of the remainder ones. But yeah, Synii kind of following on the heels of BruZZler, and it'd be interesting to see if Synii also makes a trip into bottom of the well.
Oh, what's our difference between the two of them? Synii unfortunately got caught by the guards once. That's added some time. And did the child shooting gallery.
Yeah, and
I want to say there's one more thing that Ocarina game.
Ocarina game, but also Dompe race.
And also Dompe race, and that's the difference between the two of them.
Yeah, so it's been very similar routes, but BruZZler's been just a little bit more aggressive with skipping a few checks here and there, and so far so good. But we're still a long way from seeing any Triforce pieces this seed, so still kind of everything to play for.
Alright, BruZZler doing now?
I think this could be River for Frogs 1 just to verify the hovers.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
You got the scale. Additionally, I mean, maybe this could be like bring a chicken up to go to lake so that you end up taking the owl back to go adult. You could kind of do both at the same time. Because there's no warp songs getting us back to Temple of Time. So, I don't know.
Ultimately, you could go to Lake and then pass through Hyrule Field.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could do Lake into South Hyrule as well. Yeah, lots of options at this point. Kind of everything open now with the bomb bag as path. We just have a lot of options. I think our runners might want to end up doing like Dodongos just to get to Ganon's, because our power path is our short path, and we have bomb bag on that, and then Ganon's castle. So for all we know, like it could be just Dodongo's cavern is our first dungeon that we kind of logically have to do, and the real goodies are in Ganon's.
Synii has chosen to skip the well, and is also making a beeline for River.
See, I kind of like skipping well in this case. I think this River play is actually somewhat about skulls as well. There's 2 skulls, although getting the second skull and preserving the chicken is a little bit tricky. So I'm not sure how Synnii's going to try and make that work. I guess if Synii doesn't care about going into domain, then it's not going to matter. But,
well, Synii doesn't have the scale, so getting out of domain to lake isn't an option.
That is true. So yeah, probably this is more of a Frogs 1 play, maybe a skull play, than a routing play to get to market.
Well, BruZZler did decide to buy a bean. And is leaving out the front.
So maybe this is field?
And Synii also wants some cash.
Yeah, this could be for like bomb chew bowling. So maybe they're gonna head adult and then just do chew bowling on the way. Seems like we're gonna see Boulder of Destiny though. So
well, that's good. For that one checkout. Oh, we are also buying a bean. Okay. 2 beans. Was there something on the arch in the desert that we missed?
I don't know. Nobody's mentioned it in chat either, so if there was, then I'm going to blame chat. And that's a bomb bag for Kokiri Sword unlock. So further confirmation that we need to do Foolish Deku Tree for a song.
Yeah, they're routing the same.
Yeah, so we're gonna get synced up here. So Synii electing to skip Bomb of the Well, kind of bringing us back into alignment, and BruZZler gonna be heading back adult, but looks like we're gonna see some Chew Bowling. The bomb lock checks seem pretty good this seed, given all the unlocks that are pointing towards bomb bag is locking a lot of important stuff.
Yeah, don't leave. BruZZler, don't leave. Like they're running towards the door and then going, whoops. That's a hook shot.
Yeah, so that might unlock some other options for us to get to Ganon's castle.
Forest.
Yeah, Forest now is actually a very convenient way to unlock Ganon's because we can go straight to Phantom Ganon in these settings, and we have the Forest shortcut on, and so all you really need is the hook shot to get there. And with Minuet, that becomes actually probably faster than doing Foolish Dodongo's Cavern. So,
fortunately, BruZZler is having a lot of problems with the Chew Bowling. Doesn't seem to know a setup for getting that top one, and instead sent them up the middle and spent quite a few chews doing so.
Yep, so Synii with kind of a improvised strat.
Yeah, there you go. Alright, and BruZZler now has 1. And does this works too? Okay, from all the way back there, sure. Synii also had a quarter heart. Don't die doing bomb Chew Bowling, folks.
Yeah, that's the shame for sure. And now you're safe. You got a health refill. How nice of them.
It's a winner hook shot. And BruZZler is getting more cash, and
this is for a shield, surely.
Probably for going back adult, and then you got your options of where you want to go next.
It is wise because we're probably going to end up in Forest Temple, and just having a shield before Forest Temple is smart, and I approve of this play.
I always approve of buying a shield. Okay, and Synii just turned in Richard, and has a full wallet now. Oh, and it's going to buy bomb chews. Oh, this is to clear DC early.
Yeah, I thought Synii still had some bomb chews earlier.
Yeah, so but not many left. We blew
Yeah.
through most of them by the time we got to bomb bag.
Interesting. So, as we head to adult on both sides of the screen here, will be interesting to see how our runners choose to get into Ganon's. Force is open, Dodongo's is open. We probably need to go to Ganon, so that's probably where they're going to be heading. But Synii without a shield and buying bomb chews might be thinking Dodongo's, and BruZZler might be thinking Minuet, but we'll find out soon.
I actually don't know how many bomb chews Synii has left before buying that pack of 5. It could be that there was only one of them left.
Alright, so Minuet from BruZZler, so we are almost certainly headed to Forest, but we're going to see a song here.
Bolero! Oh, Synnii's repeating without a shield.
Well, I think this is purely for the song. This is just something you automatically do.
Let's see what happens. Yes, purely for the song.
And Forest Temple, nice, just because there's a lot of free skulls out there, and this is potentially a skull seed. Seems very likely to be a skull seed, so BruZZler going to pick up a few there, but we're going to get a ZL on
Oh, it's there. Huh. Okay, was not expecting that.
Well, there's a lot of unpleasant possibilities that enter in my mind.
I can't see what's that crater. Everything is too small and blurry for me.
Yeah, I've got no shot.
I can't. Takes death.
Also known as a free heal. So, we're probably thinking that it's Nocturne on Temple of Time.
Yeah, that makes more sense now. Alright, alright. And now Synii is going to actually go through Crater. Because we have hovers, we can get if the top of the volcano if there is anything. We'll find out if there is something.
I think this could, well, maybe Synnii's going to do that. I think it would also make sense to clear link the Goron, seeing that Goron City is path, and we don't know what it is, but...
What is that? Bombs?
Yeah, I think it's bombs, but I don't hate just looking at it.
What? It was bombs, okay. That looked round to me.
But yeah, I think if you're here, it's definitely worth just finishing up Goron City to see if we can figure out whatever that courage path item is that we're missing. Or at least would know that we need to go back Child. But it seems like we're heading to the top of Crater, probably to get some more hints, so it's not a bad idea either.
Because we have ZL, we can also hit... Wait, no, never mind. That fairy is in fact dead, because Trail is foolish.
Yeah, this
but you still get the
hint play.
You still get the hints. Is that 8 chews? We have plenty. Zora's Fountain is foolish. Was that was Fountain, right?
Yes, that was Fountain, and a
slingshot. And a slingshot.
So Child Spirit now in logic, and might need that slingshot logically for clearing Deku Tree, although in practice, don't really care too much about it. And ooh, that is a big
Requiem
there.
To Megaton Hammer. And that Requiem was from Malon. And Synnii's gonna take another death.
So that means that Hammer is logically required and Requiem is also logically required. So we didn't actually know anything about either of those items before that hint. So that's actually a really that is interesting. And we can start doing Spirit with that slingshot we found. Logically. Could have done it normally with juice. Might also indicate why that strength upgrade is path. We do know that at least one strength upgrade is path, but if one is path, then often more than one is path, as I mentioned earlier. So that could be why. Still a lot of things unclear, but Hammer is one of those items that is always a little concerning. Oh, a free shield.
Hi, I'm Mirror Shield. Okay. And Tofile in chat asks what was the Colossus song. The answer is Saria's. And we do have a Goron City path for some item for courage.
Yeah, it could be Hammer on Dancing Dad. I mean, it's not impossible.
How many deaths has Synii taken up in the crater today?
I'm sorry, you mean free health refills.
and warp back to starting point too, yeah.
I would imagine that Link is probably pretty upset with Synii at this point, but it's not up to Link. BruZZler about to be done with Forest Temple, and I imagine this will lead to a hint check and a Ganon's play, and we'll be moving along down our path of power, we've solved the bombs in the graveyard. But there is another item on this path that is in Ganon's castle that is going to lead us somewhere, probably to a Triforce piece, and we have no idea what it could be. So,
nope.
time to find out.
Link the Goron just has choose, not Link the Goron. But you have enough choose, might as well get this other hint for Metagoron.
Yeah, Dancing Dad intensifies.
And Metagoron says, Colossus is path to courage.
Dancing Dad
Hey,
intensifies.
We kind of got that, actually.
Whoa, what was that? Rudo's for a Wanderer hook. Oh boy. I see. That is a very important hint. So that's the hint that's going to start to tell us where these Triforce pieces are. So, I'm gonna test you. Why do you think that's important?
Sorry, I was putting in notes. I wasn't actually paying attention to what you were seeing.
Wait, was that a double? No, that's not a double.
That was the other. We just saw the Colossus Path to Courage again. That's Deku Tree. Sorry, they have now both seen Colossus Path to Courage.
Yeah. So that Wanderer Rudo Rudo for a Wanderer hook shot. We already have one hook shot, and that was definitely not locked behind Rudo. So we know that for sure because a bomb bag for
Spirit Key Logic. Anyone?
Yeah, I mean that would be the crazy one. I think the more logical one, or I guess the first choice would probably be long shot for GTG access. And
sure, but we can skip that. Whereas I'm just kind of going, let's have nonsense spirit again. We already know we're doing that. Something over there.
Yeah,
might as well throw in the key on right hand.
It is interesting though because that hint just suggests that GTG probably has a Triforce piece, and like you mentioned, our runners can get to GTG.
They don't need that long shot.
Yeah, they don't actually need that. They can run backwards through the wasteland and get into there. So it's going to be interesting as Synii now gets into Forest Temple and eventually will find the same information that BruZZler just picked up. Does anybody throw the logic out the window and just say, like, hey, I want to go GTG, forget these required items. The seed is just pointing me there.
Sorry, was it a Wanderer's hook shot or a...
Yes, it was a Wanderer's hook shot. So it was Rudo's for a Wanderer's hook shot.
Okay. And so if it is GTG, where's Epona?
Yeah, it could be ice.
Well, again, where's Rudo's?
Yeah, so... Lot of questions. But it does, at least I would assume that the end of the road leads to GTG, but there's a lot of steps in the middle that are missing.
All right. Duplicate IGC power. BruZZler is picking up some money. What are we picking up money for?
I think it's probably just habit. Whenever I run past there.
Well, and that, yeah. I mean, we don't have enough to buy a tunic of any kind. We don't have a wallet.
Could just be for scrubs checks later on, or just a.
How many scrubs do we have left? We have the cheap one in field. And
Yeah, I don't know. More money, more good.
have it.
Yeah.
It's $20. Go get it.
And Synii now, going to be done with Forest Temple, and is going to be picking up those hints as well. So we're almost done retracing our steps here, and it's going to be decision time for both of our runners again. And now it's going to start to get good, because the decisions from now on really are going to start to be very important, and are going to really start to decide like who's going to find these pieces first. Because the information has been collected, and it's some pretty strong pieces of information, and now it's all about the plays.
Okay, Synii is just going to get the second hint, and then we will find out where we're going. BruZZler is going to pick up the other hint on trail. Oh, wait. Just remembered. Wait, trail is foolish. I don't need to go into the fountain. Oh, and Synii is going straight to Desert Colossus.
So I imagine this is going to be just to check the ferry first, just to confirm that it's Saria's. The thing though is that if it is Saria's as we expect, it probably confirms that the Goron City item is on Darunia. But you have the option to continue to GTG here. You got a pretty good item set for it too, so I wonder if we'll end up going straight there.
Okay, BruZZler is doing the inside Ganon's castle check. Oh, there's our hammer. Okay, so hold on. We just saw that hammer. The hammer. The Requiem is a hammer. Well, yes, it is. Thank you.
Yeah, she didn't lie.
No, that was exactly correct. Okay, well, let's add that hammer. So what do you do now that you have that?
What's in Goron City now? I guess it could be on the pot. That's not locked behind anything. Looks like we're going to see double Ganons here. It's also pretty safe, leading us to our power path, but we do have a surprise hammer that is on the courage path, and don't know why.
We still have no strength. That bomb bag is... Staring at bomb bag leads to 2 items on my notes page.
Yeah, all the unlock hints seem to point to really shallow items. Because we thought that maybe Requiem for Hammer could end up being pretty deep, but not, in fact. So
BruZZler is not gonna do Shadow Trial 2 right now. We just saw the first chest and left. Maybe we'll come back after clearing out the faster ones?
Yeah, I wonder if BruZZler even remembers that that's an option.
That we have fire arrows.
Easily forgotten. Yeah. Easily forgotten, for sure.
Or it could be that check takes a bit longer. I'll just come back if the others are nothing. Although I feel like then running back to the other trial takes up more time. Oh, and here is Synii picking up some free blue fire with that bottle.
Yeah, it might indicate an intent to go to Ice Cavern later on, but we got a big chest in Ganon's first. Hey, it's a strength.
Strength. Two big chests. And the bow.
Well, it's not the bow. Well, what does that mean?
There are multiple ways into Ganon's castle.
I'm not sure actually. I think
Is
all
there?
the ways
Actually,
are locked behind bomb.
Where was our hook shot? Our hook shot was Bomb chew bowl. Oh, that's behind. Okay, that's behind the bomb bag too. Okay, so never mind. I guess that could just be the strength, because our bomb bag could be for DC, or getting that Kokiri sword potentially for Deku-Tree to get into IGC, or bomb chew bowling to get your hook shot to get the forest.
Yeah. So
either way, you're picking up the strength like, because you got a bomb bag.
Yes, and bomb bag, we know its path, so bomb bag itself is not super exciting. I do think it's probably for the strength, and the question is like, kind of what do we do with that strength? Like, is it just that strength? And that would allow us to go back to Forest Temple, which could be interesting. But I don't know if Forest Temple is 4. Or I think at most it would be 3, right? Because there's no forest access. We have both of our songs available. Hookshot's only locked
at Requiem, and Minuet is accessible as child.
Yeah, so Forest, I think, can't be any more than 3. So doing Forest, looking for a Triforce piece, I think is a mistake. We talked at the very beginning of the stream about counting, and so based on our counting so far, we can count the number of logically required items to get to the checks in Forest Temple, and we've counted to 3, which is not 4, which means if we've done our math correctly, the Forest Temple cannot have a Triforce piece.
Okay, so BruZZler is maybe gonna clear out Hyrule Field now, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. You just want to try and lock down all the information you can, and see. So Field is on Wisdom. I kind of think this is going to be Kokiri Sword.
Could very well be, and there is Synnii's strength. And Synii is out of there, doing possibly the same thing.
Yeah, this is Minuet.
I have not seen... Or we're just safe quitting. Okay. I was going to say, if we had a double field out of Sacred Forest Meadow, it's been a long time since I've seen this much sinking.
Yeah, it's wild for a Triforce Blitz seed. Like, oftentimes in Blitz seeds, you will see a lot of crazy variants. And, okay, we are going to get some variants, because it looks like we are headed to probably Child Goron City on Synnii's side.
I actually was not paying attention and did not see the hint or that BruZZler just got.
That was the dupe, I believe, for our Rudos in a hookshot.
Okay. Oh, here's a big chest in Hyrule Field and Lon Lon Ranch Path to Courage. Thanks.
Thanks for nothing.
Thanks. Okay, there's Rudo's letter.
All right, and that's Sphere 0, so...
Okay, time to put that in. Okay, that is Hyrule Field on Path to Wisdom. So our items for Wisdom now look like Hovers and Rudo's letter.
Yeah, interesting. I wasn't expecting Rudo's to potentially show up as a path item, but... I guess if both hookshot and if both longshot and Eponas ended up in ice, then GTG would be locked behind Rudo's, but not actually locked behind either item. So
that would actually be kind of funny.
Yeah. Where the heck is our Kokiri sword? Are we gonna find that in Goron City? That is like the one item that is pulling us up, and Furore is very nice for routing, and actually a really good thing to find with the possibility of GTG being important. Just now, you can go there and just leave Furore's, and if you find that strength 2 somewhere later and you want to come back, you don't need to run all the way through the desert.
Now we have our much-awaited Dancing Dad check coming up.
Yeah, so we're going to see a path item on Synnii's side that we have not seen yet. Something is here in Goron City in these last 2 checks.
And BruZZler looks like doing the same thing. It's a wallop. Refill from Dancing Dad. Allowance is very generous.
It looks like it is spitting pot, so...
have we seen Hot Rodder?
Yeah, we saw Hot Rodder a long time ago, actually. BruZZler
Oh, we did?
That in,
Okay, thanks.
In the
I
first
did not
trial.
catch that.
So maybe this will be Kokiri Sword, but I think Kokiri Sword is probably holding us back from getting Nocturne, and it does feel like the seed really wants us to go chase after that that Shadow Temple location, but it could always throw us off and I guess end up being Epona or something crazy. But oh, that's Strength 2.
Okay, what do you do now?
Well, I think you do Spirit, for sure.
Play a song, go back adult. Okay,
Interesting, GTG is on Wisdom, so...
Thorn City is on Courage. And we can cross out Sarias as leading to anything now. So we have Hammer. And Strength.
I have a lot of questions now. So, I mean, it's not impossible that we could have something crazy like Light Trial for power, even. It seems unlikely, but there's nothing to disprove it at the moment. We've got two path items confirmed, or two strength items confirmed path. Seed really does seem to want us to go to Spirit Temple, but there's no path item hinted in Spirit so far, which is interesting. And GTG is on the path of Wisdom, so I'm almost wondering if maybe there's something like key logic shenanigans in GTG. What was that? The hammer.
The hammer. I guess we would check the back hammer room in GTG and see what's there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of evidence pointing towards GTG, but I just don't know what we're going to find there. I'm actually at a little bit of a loss as to where our paths are leading us. They've kind of just given us a whole plethora of items, and they've told us to, hey, go figure it out. And it could be a lot of bait. Looks like Synii is going to get to the graveyard, and we're going to see another song here. This is really nice because pretty much no matter what, this song is going to be really useful. If it's, well, I guess, unless it's Song of Time, anything but Song of Time is really useful.
Song of Time allows us to do right side of GTG Maze without any keys.
Looks like Song of Time is on Burning Cack, and I just missed a hint.
Oh, that's right. It is there. We
So,
know that.
even better. That means that we don't really need to worry about this song being useless. Pretty much all the remaining songs are going to be very helpful. Serenade and Prelude are going to be very good for routing because we have no fast way back to the Temple of Time. And Nocturne, well, useful probably because it's required. Epona's would, I guess, be kind of nice just to get to GTG without having to reverse Wasteland if we wanted to do that. And it looks like BruZZler is going to be turning in Ruta's letter. And keep in mind that Synii got an empty bottle from Ocarina minigame, but BruZZler does not have an empty bottle. So might be setting up for an ice play by turning in this letter.
Alright. We got the torch through the door.
Ruta's letter was in Open Grotto in Field.
Yes,
I think that's our path item in Field.
Okay, Synii gone straight to Lake. Gonna take the owl.
Yeah, I have a suspicion that it's Epona's in ice and also Longshot in ice. And so all of our GTG access is locked behind Gerudos, something like that.
Alright, we are just gonna leave domain. We don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, so Requiem path to get the hammer. I think in this seed, it's actually the fact that hammer is Requiem locked isn't actually that important. I think the more important thing to focus on is why is hammer path in the first place? And when we kind of analyze that, I mean, obviously the simple answer is that it's just for like Fire Temple, but we don't have any information.
You don't like that.
Yeah, and we don't have any information pointing towards Fire Temple as well. So I think it's actually worth having some caution before just blindly jumping into fire. Although actually fire might be a decent place for power maybe, because you have like Requiem, hammer, bombs, and something else potentially, maybe like a strength.
Fire does unlock Song of Time.
Yeah, so that's where I was going with this. So like for what else could hammer be for? Pretty much everything else points to GTG. Fire could potentially lock Song of Time, which would probably be for GTG. And there is one hammer lock check in GTG as well.
Yeah.
That if they have like a key, could cause some interesting shenanigans as well. So that's kind of where I'm thinking we're going. But Synii is heading out of market. And I think this could be field, maybe? Synii has not cleared field yet.
You are right.
Is that a failed Epona song?
Yeah, I think so.
Song.
I think we thought we had Epona. And this definitely looks like a field clear. No, you did not get Epona. You got Serenade.
So again, we've kind of reached the decision point. We've followed up on all the paths that we have, for the most part, other than GTG.
Temple of Time Wisdom.
Yeah, and that one is not accessible to us right now. Unless we want to do Dodongo's Cavern, Jabu, or Deku Tree. We're missing items.
According to the hint sheet, we are still missing one path area.
Yeah, we could be missing one hint, but we did get a Wanderer hint, actually. So I think that that last hint is actually eaten up by the Wanderer hint, because we saw all three.
I'm just trying to figure out where our Rudo's letter to the Wanderer hookshot. What was there? Is there another?
Well, I think that's our one Wanderer's hint that is eating one of our path hints. So actually, we probably have every single item hinted this seed, which is really interesting because it kind of, I think, confirms that Kokiri Sword has to be in GTG, because we know that Kokiri Sword is path, and there kind of has to be information pointing to it somewhere, and that's kind of the last option. But if this is all the information we get, like, where do you go?
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, so the Wanderer is our... I'm looking at the notes sheet and it's like, okay, we can't mark off that one thing at the bottom of paths. We have a bunch of blanks on sometimes hints. Did we see some of those?
Hopefully we don't see any sometimes hints, because in Triforce Blitz, if you get sometimes hints, that means you're having a bad day.
Trying to make sure we're all caught up, and we have not seen Ocarina of Time song, right?
Yeah, I believe we haven't. I'm quite confident that that we've seen all of the important hints, though, because I know for sure we saw all three unlocks, and we see 9 paths, and that means that the Wanderer hint we saw had to have been replacing a path hint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did have our 3 unlocks: Bomb Bag, and Requiem.
So it looks like we're going to see GTG from both runners pretty soon. I do think this is the place to go. I really think that we could easily have kind of a surprise Song of Time being path. And we actually have like a surprising amount of information eaten by always hints, potentially. So ZL can't be hinted as a path, and Din's is basically confirmed path at this point, just simply because we got a Wanderer hint. And potentially Burning Cack. I guess, yeah, Burning Cack potentially confirmed as well, because that would get us down to 9 path items, unless, I guess, Storms could be the surprise path, but unlikely. So I'm kind of thinking we're going to see maybe even 2 pieces here in GTG. We do have the ability to pretty much full clear GTG with the items that we have. We did get that path strength too, so entirely possible that that is just pointing to like key logic, or maybe like Kokiri sword locked behind strength too.
Alright, well, here we are. BruZZler's about to enter. Synii is not terribly far behind. So which way are we going to go in GTG first, left or right?
No.
Okay, let's see the maze. I'm bad at this.
That's a key.
But I'm not seeing any items yet in the maze. Oh wait, no, there was one.
So a key being on or behind Song of Time does mean that logically, in order to get those checks that are behind Song of Time, we do need Song of Time. There's an unlikely case where there would be no keys there, where we could get all 9 keys to get logical access to those checks, but that's not the case this time. So be interesting to see what ends up on the right side on the platform. And Synii now going to be entering GTG as well, and BruZZler looks like is going to be showing us the left side. If Synii goes to the right side first, we could see some interesting divergence that would potentially have tiebreaker implications.
Sorry about the trackers, folks. Not sure what happened.
Looks like we're just going to see left side from Synii as well.
Oh no, BruZZler just did a short hop off the edge.
It feels bad, and BruZZler only has 1 heart as well, so that's going to...
3/4 of a heart.
Are you...
Again? Oh no.
Link putting the bra
Synii has 1 heart. It's a bad day for Link. Half a heart. Synnii's hoping for a heart refill, I think. And is actually going to reset.
Line that jump up.
Sometimes you should, in fact, be getting a few more heart pieces.
It's kind of silly because Synii actually has Furore, so if Synii were to die here, it's actually not that big of an issue. But BruZZler does not have Furore, so the reason this becomes relevant is because in the next room, or not the next room, but the eye statue room, often you void out of that room
get out of there.
Take a heart of damage. Although BruZZler might be able to avoid issues by peeking, by doing kind of some clever routing to see if that chest is important and not having to come back. But it's kind of introducing some unnecessary complications to this clear route.
I think just BruZZler's going to open every chest behind the silver block.
They'll probably all be keys. We haven't seen a single key so far.
One key. Oh, there we go. There's your heart refill. And a key, and either a small chest or a key. Because it was not a big chest.
Did we see a big chest in the maze?
I thought I saw one big chest in the maze.
So we saw three
on the left
keys
side,
here.
further back.
Yeah, so 3 keys behind strength 2 means for sure that the last 2 checks in the maze are hard locked behind, well, not hard locked, but at least logically locked behind strength 2. So wouldn't be shocked if that big chest in the maze ends up being a Triforce piece.
Key from the bow. Now can safely void out. Okay, what we have? We have like nothing up there. So we're at 4 keys, and we are about to see a hammer-locked chest. It's blurry, but it's small. Is that a key?
I think we'll find out in a second. It looks like one, but I can't tell for sure.
It's just small. I don't see the border.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
I think it's just a small chest.
So why hammer?
Yeah, BruZZler doesn't think it's anything, so it's okay. We got a key behind the Song of Time block. BruZZler having some issues with the lizards here. But there we go.
Not too bad.
Oh, hello. Hello, this is bomb locked.
This is probably Arudo's letter. Or no, sorry, Kokiri's letter.
It's a slingshot.
Everything's false. So, where are my Triforce pieces? I was promised Triforce pieces.
Okay, well, we're about to check the maze, so maybe there's a piece in here.
But where's our path item?
Okay, so there's... Oh, was there something on the other side that I missed? I didn't see it. It was too blurry. Okay. There's our piece. There's power.
Interesting.
And... there's our Kokiri
oh my God,
sword.
There's so many big chests in the maze. It's like every single chest before the last one is big.
A wallet. And another one. Okay, there's our
that's what I thought.
pieces.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right.
Okay. Well, I think I think I have a pretty good idea about how this seed shakes out. But that seems to me like it's the logically required Song of Time for keys. And yeah, just everything runs through GTG, and now it's well, it's probably a race to 20 skulls, but this is actually going to be a pretty exciting finish because Synii is like 45 seconds behind.
Yeah, not far. So it's just a race for the last piece.
And we know that we need to do Deku Tree probably for Nocturne. So actually, like the play is to go child. I'm a little worried for BruZZler, because I think at this point, like it's all about just making the correct decisions and nothing else.
Yeah. Wait, hold. Wait, did Synii? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. So Synii got the second piece in there too, right?
Yeah. So there's 2 of 3 at the bottom. So
okay,
both
good.
runners have everything, and BruZZler a few seconds early, and interestingly enough, BruZZler heading to Fire Temple. I think this is a really.
Oh.
I mean, this is it's a big play. I think this is a mistake, but I've been wrong before. I think that the logic here is very tricky, in that the fact that we saw courage in GTG means that it basically has to be Song of Time, and so the hammer is leading to that, and probably that alone. And Synii is heading child, and I think this is the right move. Synii needs to rush to Deku Tree to unlock Nocturne so that we can get into Shadow Temple. But yeah, chat is on point. We have Temple of Time on the Path of Wisdom, so that kind of confirms that. Like, there's no way that Temple of Time can lock anything in Fire Temple, as far as I'm aware. So.
All right, and Synnii's going to Deku.
Well, I mean, we've got 2 different ideas about this seed, so we're gonna see which one is right. It's been totally neck and neck the whole race until now, and so often Triforce Blitz just comes down to, one right decision, one wrong decision. And even though, our runners were neck and neck the whole race, like, it's going to come down to decision making in the end.
So we had what was our path item in GT? Right, it was our Kokiri sword.
Yeah, it was Kokiri sword, yeah. Looks like we're going to see Volve on BruZZler's side. So getting a fairy. This is still not a free kill, even with a fairy.
No. How many chews does BruZZler have?
I don't think the chews actually matter that much.
They're faster.
They are faster, but I don't think it's fast enough to avoid using the fairy.
No, it's not. I don't think so, but it would make it much easier.
I think something else to be counting is our skulls. We do need 20, and that was 17 for Synii. We're going to see another one right here. So Synii needs 2 more in order to get up to the magic number for Dins. So where are we going to see those last 2 skulls? We potentially see another one in Nightcap. Maybe one in...
We have a bottle we could do. Have we done Graveyard bugs?
Yeah, we could do bugs as well. I actually think bugs are pretty slow under most circumstances, but it's mostly just kind of optimizations, really, because there's a lot that are available.
Hasn't Synii done everything in Nightcap?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just thinking about what
elsewhere.
would be on the way. If I were doing this, I'd probably do the 1 skull in Night Hylia as child, because I need to go there to get back to adult anyway.
Oh my god, this deck is crap.
So evasive. But yeah, I'd probably get the one in Lake, and then probably the one in Adult Cat, because I can hookshot on the roof. And that's a pretty fast way up to 20, and it's along the way that we've got to go anyway, so that's probably what I would do, but I don't think there's really any wrong answers to get to 2 skulls.
And then we keel over. Yep, that's basically what happens.
Nice kill, though, for BruZZler. It's pretty clean.
And what we got? Icky. Alright. So what does BruZZler do here? Are we running back into fire? We are. Okay. Okay, so it could be the hammer for the Velvagia kill to get Song of Time for key logic in GTG, right? We saw like at least 2 keys on the right side.
I just think that there's no other possibility. So by process of elimination, like...
Yeah, I think that's what... Because I'm just thinking, like, we saw nothing else for hammer, right? And there's, like, nothing else that could be hammer because there would be another path.
Yeah, and it's one of these very weird seeds, to be honest, because the thing that really eliminates all the other possibilities for this seed is actually the Wanderer hint. Like, the fact that the Wanderer hint exists...
that eats...
Yeah, it tells you so much.
Because otherwise we would have a path to Gerudo Valley, right? Or a path to Crater for other hammer checks, right?
Yeah, and I think even more important than that, just the fact that that exists means that there can't be any other path items lying around somewhere that are hinted. So there's literally it's literally the items that we have on our hint list and nothing else, nothing extra, and we know for sure. So it can't be like anything surprising. We have a very limited set of items that we can use to get to the places we need to go.
Something's happening with the tracker. We will just bear with it. Today, we will take a look at it later to figure out what's going on.
There's only one thing you need to track, and that is if this Triforce piece that we're missing is in Fire Temple, then BruZZler's going to be in good shape, and if it's in Shadow Temple, then Synnii's going to be in good shape. And beyond that, you don't really need to pay attention to anything. We do have a big chest showing up here in Fire Temple.
And there's our Nocturne.
Iron Boots, DLC. Well.
Okay, here is our Nocturne. As expected. And that was our other Requiem hammer.
So, I don't know if Synii has enough skulls. Maybe Synii is just going to make it night. There's 2 options that are outside of CAC. You can go to the grotto that's right outside of CAC and pick up a skull there to get up to 20. But I don't know if we're at 18 or 19 right now. It does look like those Iron Boots were the last clarification that BruZZler needed, and now BruZZler is going to be leaving Fire Temple behind. But even if BruZZler chases Deku at this point to get into Shadow, I think it's a little bit too late. Had that minute lead, and unfortunately the Fire Temple dip has bled that away. Now Synii definitely going to be making it into Shadow Temple first, and barring any sort of major execution mistakes, if this Wisdom piece is in Shadow like I think we suspect it is, then Synii is going to likely get there first. As always with Shadow Temple, the question is, how deep? Shadow Temple does like to have Triforce pieces unnecessarily deep, just to make it painful for us. So, gotta imagine that it is at least hovers locked, but Synii can play it safe. And just clear these first 2 checks for keys to make sure that this clear goes smoothly.
Sorry about the tracker issues. We think we know what's going on. hopefully not be disrupted again. Okay, we got a key. BruZZler, just kill Goma. Just.
I think this is for skulls.
It's for skulls, but it's also like just kill Goma and I mean running behind now, but it's.
Yeah, BruZZler was a little bit further behind Synii in terms of skulls, only having 14, so I can understand.
Oh, really? I can't.
Yeah.
How many we got? That's quite behind.
Yeah, so that's. I think BruZZler is just trying to pick up any available skull along the way. You can understand why to come here.
Another key in Shadow. Okay. Thanks, Shadow. Please give us our piece.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably always hovers locked anyway. But getting those 2 keys, at least you know, probably have no choice but to do the non-hovers locked checks on the way.
So, how do we get to our 8 items here?
Well,
we have our bomb bag to Kokiri sword.
Yep, so that's 2.
Which gives us Nocturne.
That's 3.
Rudo's letter is on here. Why do we have Rudo's letter?
That's a great question. What do you think?
I'm just trying to look at our items. We have hovers.
Yeah, so hovers is for sure 4.
Depending on how far we go, we could have a required strength. Letter. What?
So we won't have a required strength for Shadow Temple because actually the 2 strengths that we found did not lock each other. We found one on Spinning Pot, and one was in Spirit Trial.
That's right.
So we're not going to see any strength.
Strength required are the 2 steps added to Courage.
That's right.
Or in GTG, because we had those 3 keys back there. Oh, forgot to add magic. Dins.
Yeah, I don't think magic is going to end up being a path, but Dins for sure is definitely a path.
So that would give us 5 or possibly 6 items. Kokiri sword directly behind bomb bag.
Not exactly, no.
Where was it? I'm trying to recall.
Kokiri sword was in the BMOS check in GTG.
Ah. Yeah, that is... You do need bombs, but that's not your immediate need to get there. Oh, that would be our Rudo's Letter Wanderer Hookshot.
Yeah, so,
I go back through this. That's what our Rudo's Letter is for.
Yeah, it is for GTG access because I believe that Epona's is also in the cavern. So we talked about it earlier how if Epona's and Longshot are both behind Rudo's somehow, then Rudo's is path to get to GTG, but actually neither of the individual items are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this is one of those weird cases. And this seed is over. Synii with the 3rd piece.
Wow.
And GG. Well played. Nice of Shadow Temple not to troll us too much today. Oh, it was first Maze Chest. Sorry, Beamos had Slingshot.
Oh, it was
close enough.
Ah, okay. Which, right, we do need a Slingshot, and our other Slingshot was Bomb Lock and Death Mountain Crater?
Yeah, so slingshots are not going to end up being on the path, but the bomb bag is confirmed path for sure. So we will get a spoiler log before too long, assuming that BruZZler ends up FFing. So I think until he's done, the race room will remain open. But I have 7 items counted on mine. I'm probably just forgetting something silly. I've got K-Sword, Dins, Hovers, Nocturne, Bombs, ZL, and Rudo. And I'm probably just forgetting about something else.
Hold on, let me get into the right thing and invite the people over. Synii, invite to server. Oh, we actually have some interesting stuff happening in the race room right now. BruZZler misread Courage and Wisdom in GTG and went Fire instead of Deku.
Ooh, that's rough. Yeah, sometimes it can just come down to that. I think, outside of that, outside of kind of the clerical error, like BruZZler played really, really well and made like on point decisions, and I was kind of surprised that he ended up in Fire, but that makes sense.
All right, welcome, Synii. GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
How do you feel about this seed? You like bait?
That was interesting, having a 4 and a 12-step piece right next to each other.
That's the classic.
I was actually thinking about going to Fire Temple instead, but I did like the paths and then couldn't figure out where to put the strength, so I just threw that theory out the window. And then was very surprised when I found Power was in GTG. Like, I was expecting Courage to be, but not Power.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe Power could end up being in Fire Temple somehow. And then when it turned up in GTG, I thought, well, this seed's pretty much solved.
Yeah. Like Song of Time for key logic, like 3 keys on the right side. Oh boy.
Did you ever get tempted to go GTG earlier than you did? Because you were pretty thorough in chasing down all of your paths.
Was a little tempting. Like, I was kind of hoping opponents would show up so I could route the field and GTG together, but it never showed up. I assume it's an ice cavern, and that the long shot's also locked by the Rudos.
Yeah, I think probably it's both Eponas and long shot just in ice. We'll find out pretty soon. But
yeah, since we got that Wanderer hint for Rudos.
Hello.
Hello. GG.
GG, BruZZler. I thought it was a really good performance. And actually, from our perspective, it was a really, really fun race to watch because both of you ended up doing extremely similar routes almost through the entire seed. And actually, the Fire Temple dip from BruZZler was basically the first real divergence in the entire seed, unbelievably. That was like an hour and 20
minutes. Just following each other?
No, that's not true. There was the well dip on one side.
That is true. So there was some minor divergence with the well dip, and I think BruZZler was a little bit more aggressive in skipping overworld checks. But both of you were more or less within a minute of each other, almost the entire way up until the very end. And I think BruZZler, if you had ended up chasing after the Courage, or sorry, the Nocturne song instead of going to Fire, it would have been a very, very close race at the end. Because Synii was a little bit ahead on Skulls, but you were about a minute or a little bit more than a minute ahead in terms of like checks. So it could have been really, really tight at the end.
Yeah, I'm also missing 4 skulls, which
yeah, I was expecting like Shadow Temple as soon as I saw that hovers were Path to Wisdom and just decided to go for 20. Just be thorough about it.
Yeah, so I misread in GTG the Courage and Wisdom piece. That's why I went Fire. And then I thought, oh, wait. It wasn't Wisdom. It wasn't Wisdom, it was Courage. And then it was clear it was Shadow, but yeah, too late.
So we do have the spoiler log out now, and the logic was a little bit different than I expected. It seems like the 2 strength upgrades are actually Path on Wisdom as well, and ZL is actually not Path somehow, because you can do the Goron pot with Dins instead of ZL. So
Yeah,
ZL
that
not
makes
Path.
sense.
But then I'm kind of surprised that the 2 strength upgrades end up being Path for the GTG key logic for the Kokiri sword pretty early in the maze. But I think because Kokiri sword ends up locking all of the Song of Time keys, that actually
so
you just need
You need
those
the strengths
upgrades.
to get enough keys.
3 keys on the right side. It's kinda
Yeah,
crazy.
there's 3 in the Strength 2 room, I think.
Yeah.
So 6 keys, Strength 2 locked.
And you needed, how many keys did you need? 4, right? No, 4 was wallet.
I think you logically need 5 keys for that chest, because it's the first one is 3, or maybe
Yeah.
no, it's 4 then, right? The first one's 3, and
Yeah, it would be
one
4
key later.
for the...
Yeah, makes sense. We have 9
the
keys in
chest.
GTG and 6 are locked, so we need 4 and have 3.
So I'm just looking through the spoiler log. Does look like actually Longshot ends up being in Jabu, which denied us our always hint of Jabu foolish. So Jabu not foolish.
Oh, interesting.
today.
Okay, that was in Jabu, not in. Okay.
Yeah, but
Where's
Epona's
the boomerang?
Still
is in Ice
behind.
Cavern, so it's
Okay.
similar to what we thought.
Okay,
Okay.
just in the other option behind Rudos.
And Boomerang on the diving game in Domain, which means you never were going to find it,
Yeah, pretty much.
nor should you
Okay.
have.
So letter locked Longshot and Eponas in ice, I guess.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
And the Wanderer is just instead of Eponas.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Wander because it locks both the long shot and the Eponas.
Well, I believe this was game 1 of this best of 3 series. Is that right?
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah. So
When is
still
your
got
next
some more
race?
chances.
in 2 hours.
Yeah, 2
In
hours
2
from now.
hours.
Okay.
All right, you have a break then. That's very nice. There's a lot of other races that are happening right now or are about to happen, actually. It's a very busy day.
And these races are the final step, the group stages for this tournament, and then after the group stages, we will have our brackets. And so, more on that when it's available. But for now, we gotta get through the ends of our groups. But it's been a great tournament so far, and thank you to Synii and BruZZler for a really exciting race to watch. It was just very close the entire time, and I think both of you played extremely well. It was good to see a strong performance from both of you, and best of luck in your game 2 coming up. And then I guess I can do some shout outs to everybody who helped with the stream.
Yep.
So thank you to Mira for co-comming with me, and also to Skyries and Vaiva.
Veva, I
Okay.
believe.
I just try to say the letters, and it's hard.
Yeah, I
I
understand
guess now
that.
I know how everybody feels about my name.
Oh, yeah.
So karma comes for me, but regardless, thank you to our trackers for helping us out and kind of trucking through some technical difficulties on the tracking side. Really appreciate that. And
Do you want to say where people can watch more Triforce Blitz? Because we got some races.
yeah, so we've got some other races, I believe, later today on the Silver Gauntlets.
In like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, nice.
So if
We
you want to
have
see some more
UFC
Triforce
Wildcat versus Xeno. And in, I think, like 25 minutes, we have KLO 1313 versus Mr. Martin. And oh no, sorry. UFC Wildcat is hold on. I'm actually a little confused by the race time and the we have a bunch of races happening. Hold on. We can just plonk the link directly into chat. So you can see where to go.
Wow, and there's a really exciting race earlier on today. Jax versus Kohler. They're playing their elimination race. I won't spoil the result, but it was extremely close.
It sure was. Which you honestly hoped for those two, because they are both very good runners. Jax is a very good Triforce Blitz runner, and Cola is an excellent all-around Ocarina of Time rando runner.
It is a cruel joke of the draws that they ended up in the same group in an elimination race, but
Yeah.
that's just how it is. But so there are lots of exciting Triforce Blitz action today. So just be on the lookout for that if you enjoy this format. And with that, I think that's all from me. I will let you handle the sign off from here.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you at another race on another channel, potentially, or possibly back here next weekend, depending on how things settle out for the start of brackets. Thank you everyone for watching.
All right. See you in 2 hours, BruZZler.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm gonna hop down to the setups. Yeah, I don't know if we're still technically on air, but I'd hop down to setup and we can chat there.
Okay.
Yo, thanks for restream. Bye.
Yep. See ya.